Hello, I'm Ever Adventurous. This time I'm sharing another destination fantasy event. At least it was for me, as I traveled across the country to Baltimore to join the Fae Revel, a fantasy ball event and retreat called Fête du Fae. This was a costume ball that boasted 11 official influencer ambassadors in attendance, such as Queen Estrella, Enchanted Noir, Maddie is Manic, and Dragon Mistress. There were also so many other creators there, whether they were ambassadors or guests. The event was primarily created by Minji of Moth Fairy and photographer Sarah James Middleton. They wanted it to be an event where everyone could enjoy the Fae aesthetic, dance, and meeting all of these creators. They are planning on hosting another event in the spring, so if you're curious how this event went, then stay tuned. There were 3 different tiers of tickets that you could choose between, anywhere from general admission to just the dance, or you could upgrade to Oberon's Feast, where you were able to come to a feast at a lovely restaurant with 5 of the ambassadors and enjoy that right before the ball, all the way up to Titania's Court Retreat, which included hotel stays, as well as professional makeup and photography before the dinner and ball. I was not expecting to be able to go to another event out of state this year, so it was really exciting that I was able to make that happen. And I needed a hotel, so I just kind of went wild and crazily splurged on Titania's Court package. Part of my reason for going is there's a really wonderful fantasy photographer that I've seen online who does these retreats, and I've always wanted to go to one. And this one, she was going to be a photographer here, and there was a ball involved, so I thought it was the best of both worlds. Unfortunately, she was not able to make it in the end, so it's a little rough that kind of the reason I went did not come to fruition, but I very much enjoyed the whole experience anyway with the photography and the event, so it all worked out. And that just means I have another excuse to go out and try to make it to a photo retreat someday. For the 2 destination balls that I have attended so far, I've found that the city where it's hosted is as much of the experience to me as anything else. If you want to hear about when I went to the ball in Scotland, in Edinburgh Castle, I'll leave a link to that here. As for Baltimore, I explored historic buildings. One was the Basilica. This was the first Roman Catholic cathedral built in the United States. There was this wonderful cemetery where notable figures from the city were buried, including Edgar Allan Poe. This is where he's buried now, and this marks his original burial spot. I was delighted as I wandered into one building. Someone who worked there was willing to tell me all about the history of the building and about some of their life experiences, so that was just such an exciting adventure day. There was the National Aquarium with an absolutely beautiful bird named Maybelline, as well as this fish who, I don't know, he was just so cool. We sat there and stared into each other's souls for 10 or 15 minutes. I miss him. He was great. The Peabody Library was especially glorious to behold. It's known as a cathedral to books and has a neo-Greco interior with this amazing atrium and all these balconies of books. And I visited another library while I was there, which was also gorgeous. But, you know, it was funny to see this magnificent ceiling and then pan down, and it's kind of just over some junky DVDs. But the collection at the Peabody Library is like beautifully curated, and just choosing 2 books at random that I was allowed to touch, they were over 100 years old. Now, only the first level of the library is available to public. That is a whole lot of forbidden section. They even have an old-fashioned card catalog. Okay, I know you're here to hear about Fête du Fae, not necessarily about Baltimore, but I'm just saying, if going to aquariums and museums and marveling at architecture and historic buildings and wandering cemeteries and beholding incredible libraries is your vibe, then I want to be friends. But now, let me tell you about Titania's Court Retreat. I also love the theme of this. I'm a big Shakespeare fan, so the Midsummer Night's Dream theming for the ticket tiers, love that. Okay, so the hotel that they housed us at is Hotel Revival. It's in the heart of the historic Mount Vernon neighborhood of Baltimore. A lot of the decor was peacock theme, which I love, as well as color-coordinated books. We love it. The hotel had so much character, this really fun-looking wallpaper, and then you go in close and you see the details and see how unique it is. There was this lovely little breakfast lunch place called the Dashery downstairs that was like themed like a haberdashery. Then this gorgeous rooftop restaurant. We only peeked at that. I wish we'd eaten there that night. I've never even eaten on a rooftop. Why didn't I do that? There was this beautiful room that I got to share with another member of Titania's court, and there was a few of us in the retreat that hung out and went out to dinner and had a great time over the weekend together. There was a fun area in the back of the hotel with karaoke rooms and a jukebox, but and we put the coin in the jukebox and picked a song. We were so focused on that we missed something very important. There was a hidden passageway. Well, there was a hidden door to a secret speakeasy that was directly to our right. When you put the coin in this machine, it unlocks the door. You're supposed to be able to push it open, and you go into this whole hidden lounge speakeasy thing. I couldn't believe we missed it. Somewhere here, there's a secret speakeasy, and but by the time that I knew about it, it was like the day I was leaving and it wasn't open, I think, in the daytime. To research the places I stay better, because that would have been so fun. And all three of us were right there and none of us noticed. Anyway, room was lovely. I loved the view from our room, and I loved the wallpaper in there. So pretty. And it was a fun place for us to hang out when we were doing our makeup and everything later on. I will say, I really wish that there had been an official meetup the first day of the retreat. Really, the only thing that was included with that was your first night of your hotel stay. But there was no event planned for that day. I really wish there'd been something official planned, whether it was for the court members or just anyone who was in town for the ball at all. I think that would have been so much fun. But the next day I got out to doing a lot of that exploring. Then in the afternoon, it was time to enjoy some of the retreat activities.
What's her name? What's her name from The Witcher with the purple eyes? Yennefer.
Yeah, she's got purple eye contacts in.
Yes, it is giving Yennefer. Also, a little bit of Morticia.
Oh, very good.
Yes, absolutely.
So I know, I'm like, usually I wear the black, but that was just like the best fitting gown.
Gonna kind of come over here and see these fairies. Hi, fairies. Over the shoulder mirror. Hi, fairies. Hi, fairies.
Yeah, it looks like you.
Wow. I want to say everyone's details. I feel like I should be saying hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Manic Pixie MUA curated a playlist for us of late 90s and early 2000s girl jams. So boy, did I feel like I was in some kind of Lizzie McGuire montage getting the works done before a big event, which I kind of was.
It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing, it's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love.
But she did a gorgeous job on my makeup. It was so fun hanging out with everyone in the room, and Sarah, the photographer, was there and chatting with us. Photo sessions, which was hosted at the Walters Art Museum, so that was really neat, being able to go do our photos in a museum. Between Manic Pixie's amazing artistry and Sarah's careful crafting of her photography, look how beautifully these photos came out. The mental image of showing these photos to a younger me who had just watched Arwen and Lord of the Rings is a huge glimmer. I mean, just look at this picture of younger me trying to look super cool and elegant and kind of the same color and vibes to this. Oh, I love these photos. This is what dreams are made of. Then it was so fun to have everyone come together at the Walters Art Museum, and we did some TikToks together, and we took some group photos with some of the ambassadors. Next, it was time to attend Oberon's feast.
Yes, of everybody. We were eating.
Oberon was suspiciously absent. Just kidding. Nobody was ever going to be Oberon. It was just the name of the feast. But this was hosted at the Helmond restaurant, and this is the first time I've ever had Afghan cuisine. And if this is any indication of it, I really like Afghan cuisine, it turns out. It's also very great with my food allergies. I have a couple of tricky ones, and they made sure that the meal was accessible. They communicated very clearly with anyone who had food allergies to make sure they still had tons of options, and that they weren't going to eat anything that was going to cause them issues. The ball itself was held at the Belvedere Hotel, the crown jewel of Baltimore, as it's known, and this was also within easy walking distance of the hotel and the restaurant. This was a beautiful setting. Pillars and gilded mirrors that were really huge. And for the fairy theme, there's kind of this floral floor, and then the dance floor itself. There were photographers catching candid photos of people at the event. Plus there was a photo booth where you could go and take pictures with your friends and have photos from that. Great hors d'oeuvres with labels for those with food allergies. I definitely had more than my fair share of the bacon wrapped chicken. The ball had a costume contest. There was an artist doing live watercolor paintings of the guests. So part of the big attraction of this is meeting the ambassadors, mingling with them, right? But that can be a little unnerving because, you don't want to bother them. Well, they had implemented a great way, a sort of excuse and permission and encouragement to meet the ambassadors, which was each ambassador had a little charm that they would pass out to people. So Queen Estrella had stars. Let's see, I Do Declare had the sewing scissors, but they all kind of had a little symbol that matched their brand, and you were encouraged to go up and meet each of them, and they would give you these little charms, and then you could go to a craft table where you would assemble all of these into a bracelet as a little keepsake from the event. I really wish that they had also had the ambassadors wear some sort of indicating badge. I did miss a little bit of the first part of it because of some costume issues. So for all I know, there was a quieter part earlier in the evening. Couldn't hear each other, even trying to just get people's socials or learn their names. It was really difficult. It was just really loud and chaotic. I wish that we could have also had the lobby in the Belvedere. That makes no sense because people live there and that would be weird for them to have to walk past people having a party. But I did see the artist seeming to kind of struggle to see her paints and her art in the dark. Also the crafting table. It was so hard to communicate and ask questions. We couldn't hear each other. So that could have also been in a lighter, quieter area. I would have loved that to have, the party hard area and here's a place where we can actually chat and get to know each other and craft, and the painter can see their artwork. I think some of the funnest part of the event for me was just the makeup and the photos and being able to hang out with other people in the retreat. I just love the venues, the hotel we stayed at, the restaurant we ate at, the place where the ball was, and the dance was a ton of fun. Of course, one of the best things about these is always meeting the other guests and seeing all of their creativity, all of their wonderful costumes, all of their wonderful energy. And that was definitely a highlight of this one as well. Thank you so much to Sarah and Minji and everyone else who put this event together. Best of luck with your next event. Thank you for having me. And thank you for those gorgeous photos. earrings. I love them so much. Hopefully gonna put these charms on a little bit of a better string. It doesn't look too pretty right now because I couldn't see it at the craft table and I was confused. And I'll just keep it in one of my treasure boxes. Until next time, keep creating and stay ever adventurous. Bye.
I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing that's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love. Yeah, I'm falling in love. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down.